Hey, what's going on? It's G-Ball Vision. Today I have a new knife here to share with you, and this one is coming in from our friends over at Ruike Knives. Now, while I get this opened up, let me know down in the comments what your carry is for today. Now, if you're not familiar with Ruike Knives, they are a producer of very affordable knives, and they do a solid job. This is a knife right here that I've wanted to get my hands on for quite some time. This is going to be the Ruike Knives P801, and I wanted to get my hands on this knife for years, and I just never picked it up, never decided to end up getting one. And I have talked with dozens and dozens of people who absolutely love this knife right here. We are going to be looking at a Ruike build, which is a solid build quality right from the factory. We are going to be looking at 14C 28N steel. This knife is available. It's widely available. I'll have it linked down below in the description and in the pinned comment. Going to be very affordable. These are like 37, 38 bucks, something like that. Between 35 and 38 bucks. It's a really hard deal to beat if you're not looking for anything fancy. You're just looking for a solid knife at an affordable price point. This will make a good option. Pretty much any Ruike knife will make a really good option. We are looking at dual thumb studs and a rear flipper tab here. They do a phenomenal job with 14C 28N. They are one of the first companies I ever experienced 14C 28N from, and they have ever since just done a phenomenal job. Perfectly centered up there. We got a couple of studs and the rear flipper tab. The detent is tuned very nicely. Now, there's no jimping or very minimal jimping. They got one little jimp there on the end, but I would say it's designed in such a way that I don't think you're going to have a whole lot of trouble with the flipper tab, and it'll make a good push button flipper as well. The studs are a little different, but they got plenty of room from the side and underneath to kind of get up in there and really throw that blade open. We are looking at an exposed frame lock here. Now, this is going to be steel, and this came out long before making steel look like titanium was a thing. And I'll bring out just another knife right here. And this hasn't been revamped or anything like that. Now, Ruike is still making new knives, but here is a steel handle from this company here, and look at the difference. Now, I'm not saying one's better than the other. Steel is going to be steel, but just look at the finish and look at the difference. That is, fully intended to try to look like titanium, where this just looks like a mirrored steel. And I gotta say, I do like the industrial look of just raw steel with a stonewash blade. It's kind of a no-nonsense, no-frills type of design. We are looking at a deep carry clip here, and that isn't going to be reversible on this particular model. We do have a lanyard hole there. I'm not going to get too crazy with the nitpicks on a, under $40 knife. It'd be nice if there was a left-hand option, but not the end of the world. We do have great access to that lock bar. They chamfer it, they jimp it. Excellent job for a knife that is as old as this knife is. Now, let's get an actual reading on some measurements here. We're looking at 3 1/4 strong of cutting edge. I say 3 5/16, and we'll give it 3 3/8 of total blade there, and coming down there right at 7 3/4. So this is a good size knife. Now, I'll bring out a couple of comparison knives here. We got the Kaiser Drop Bear up top, and we have the Benchmade Bug Out here on the bottom. And this is going to be almost directly in line with that Bug Out size. It's going to be just a little bit bigger and quite a bit bigger than the Drop Bear. Next up, we got the Vosteed Raccoon here up top and the Spyderco Parrot 3 on the bottom. And it's even going to be just a touch bigger than the Raccoon. I would say it's going to be very close to that full-size Militol length. Now, some people are probably thinking, you know, wow, this is the first time you're handling this knife and checking it out. And some people are like, who the hell is Ruike? You know, the people who know about Ruike, they know the quality at which they're done. And if you don't know, if you see something from a company like Ruike, you know, I wouldn't have any hesitation about picking it up. You know, at the price point, they're going to be very hard to beat if you're looking for an affordable knife. And they have tons of different, you know, models out there. This is just one of the older ones that I've always wanted to get my hands on and, you know, just haven't. And I've been in the game for quite a little while now. So, pretty deep carry, looks really good. It's anodized like the pivot collars. Not a whole lot of flare and flash going on with this. That's going to work really good. Good retention on the way out there. Not a whole lot of flare, but you do have the pivot collars. You have the studs there and the pocket clip to give this a little bit of, you know, aesthetics to it. We can see there P801 SF and Sandvik 14C28N. Now, I'm interested because we don't have any internal milling here. Let's get a weight check on the P801 here. So we'll bring out the arch nemesis here, and the last 3 videos I've done, I nailed the weight and then the scale changed it on me at the last minute. So that is why it is my nemesis. It's always showing me up. Perfectly centered up there. Boy, I don't know. What do you guys think? Put it down in the comments. I'm going to say this is a hefty bugger here. Solid steel liners. 4. I bet this is up at 4. 4. Boy. It might even be more. Let's say 4.3. Ooh, 4.1, okay. I'll take it. 118 grams and 4.1 ounces. So it's deceivingly got some weight to it, but I'd say that's a pretty good weight, pretty good feeling knife in the hand. That gives you, you know, it when you pick this up, hold it, it makes you feel like you got a substantial tool. And it's not going to be overly heavy in the pocket at 4 ounces. Now let's get a measurement here on our handle thickness. Not going to be overly thick in this department by any stretch. 0.364 for our handle thickness. 116 thousandths. 116 thousandths on the blade stock there. And we'll pick a random spot here and get a behind the edge reading just to get an idea. Wow. That's coming down there around 15 thousandths, and I was a little high on that grab. Let's recheck that. Hell, that's saying 10 thousandths right there. I'd say probably about 12 thousandths. Let's see how this thing cuts out of the box. And we're going to use some catalog paper for that. This is going to be a great poker here. Great piercer and slicer. Let's see how this thing cuts, baby. Because that is pretty damn thin behind the edge there. Woohoo! That is really thin. And if you wanted to, yeah, this has a really nice edge on it, ladies and gentlemen. If you wanted to, you could put an absolute screamer on this thing. Full flat in 14C, a steel that will take an absolute razor's edge. This thing could be an absolute laser beam for you. Even if you took this out of the box and just kind of honed that edge in a little bit, it's already a laser beam. You wouldn't have to touch it. But if you did do that, this thing would be screaming sharp. Now, what's going to be interesting to me is we're perfectly centered up. This knife comes from a time frame possibly when locks were not looked at like they used to be and like they are now. There was a point in time where companies were more worried about how is the action on our knife and not how does the lock hold up. You can have both. You can have a solid lockup and really good action at the same time. So I am curious about the lockup on this knife. It's sitting pretty good there at like 45%. There's not any detent lash. It's got a nice detent on it. No pivot lash. I don't feel any movement there. Let's see what the spine whacker has to say about this lock here. Give it a couple of light taps up towards the tip. It's going to put a lot of stress on that lock. We'll start there. Pretty good. Sounds good. No movement. We closed it and checked it. Okay. Triple tap. No movement. A quick and hard triple tap. Very good. That's the thing about frame locks. They can be very resilient and very strong. Good lockup, good meetup between the lock face and the tang of the blade there. That's precisely what we want. And I have handled probably a good dozen rake knives, a good dozen folders, and a couple of their fixed blades. But in regards to their folders, they have all been outstanding. Very solid folding knives for the money that you're spending. A company that I overlooked, but not for very long. I checked out my very first rake fairly early on in my collection. A collecting journey here, and I've checked out bunches of them, you know, over the course of the years, but this is one that always kind of just slipped by for one reason or another. But I do get all the hooting and hollering about this knife. Many people have told me how great this knife is, and it's not that I didn't believe them. It's just, you know, I didn't have any input on the notion of this knife, but I can, you know, say after finally getting this in hand at $36, I do see, you know, what the attention is on this knife. You'll have to let me know if you have a P801. Let me know your thoughts. If you have never handled this knife, but you've handled some rake knives before, let me know what you think about this. Just let me know what you think in general about this knife. And let me know if there's any knife companies that you've overlooked for a period of time and ultimately picked one up to check them out and realized it's a good knife, it's a good company. I look forward to hearing from you guys and gals. Share this video with your friends and family. They would all love to see a new knife video. Hit the thumbs up button. That helps push the video out there to more people. If you're new to the channel and you enjoy knife and EDC content, you're in the right place. Make sure you subscribe, ring the bell. That'll notify you when I release new EDC and knife videos, which is every day, just like this. I'll post a couple of videos up on your screen. Go check all of them out for me. Have yourself an awesome day. I love you all, and I will catch you on the next one.